Now I have the wonderful opportunity to introduce a man who has dedicated his life to his passion: direction, production, bringing stories to life, making them pop out of the screen and be in your living room. He was born in France, spent a quarter century in the United States. He's had numerous awards for stellar work. He's currently working on a series of documentaries dedicated to peace. Please give a big round welcome applause to Emmanuel Etier.
Thank you so much, Rudy. Thank you also, Barbara Goyen-Muller. I'm so honored and humbled to be among you, such brilliant souls and committed for peace. And talking about peace, I think we should, really take a little moment with my dear friend Elena Gilad from Voices of Eden to come into oneness and peace. So, Elena, if you can bring us there.
Wonderful. Just shows to prove that peace is lived one moment at a time. The silence after the music is when the medical research that's been conducted upon this ancient use of voice and rhythm has proven to be most potent. So if you will please allow that moment for yourself to receive that peace that you so valiantly work towards, and receive it yourself. This piece is composed live on the spot now in dedication to all of you.
Thank you, Elena. So now it's my great honor and put me in a very humble position to introduce the following lady. Lady with a capital L for life and for love, because these are two greatest attributes for this amazing and inspiring woman. The love and the life she gave by raising millions of dollars to fight AIDS with AMFA, for example, or with the Planet Hope Foundation, which is formed with her sister Kelly, and that help underprivileged children and their family. Every week, she gets involved with a new charity, a new program, a new idea to heal the world. So this is quite normal that she was lately honored in Warsaw, Poland, by many of the Nobel Peace Laureates and given a Peace Summit Award from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I was there, and I was deeply moved and touched. She truly awakened us into oneness. For the last 10 years, together we have produced unique and transformative documentaries, humanitarian documentaries. One of them is shown today at 2 p.m. upstairs, Femme, Women Healing the World. These documentaries have received over 40 awards combined and were screened all around the world. Thanks to this lady, our movies shine with peace and love, with life and light. This lady you see is not a star. She's a whole universe, a universe of kindness and care, of intelligence and beauty. She's a universe of light over darkness, of life over death. Yes, this lady is pure peace in action. She never stopped thinking about how to save the world. And more, she turns her thinking into powerful doings to transform our humanity. This lady inspires true and genuine love, and the less we can do is to say in return, je t'aime, je t'aime, je t'aime. Dear friend, dear Rotarian, without any further ado, let me introduce you to a multi-award winning actress, a peace activist, a humanist, my friend, my partner, and the godmother of my kids, Lady Sharon Stone.
But I'm going to come out here and push those away. I'm always a little taller than everybody's ready for. Hi. How are you? I am really, really honored to be here. I think that the Rotarian organization is an incredibly cool organization. Service above self. I tell my kids that life is a service job. Because it is. No matter who you are, no matter how much you're self-employed, you work for somebody. And we have to ask ourselves, what is that work, I think, in the end? You know, they say if you do the work that you love, you'll always be happy every day. But I think if the work is love, then your work is happiness. I believe that happiness is a discipline. And I can tell when I've lost track of my discipline. You know, 3 or 4 days go by and I'm off track, and then I have to sort myself out again. And then I have to sit down and ask myself, what's wrong? What's out of sorts? Who have I let in my life? What have I let in my life? What have I let go? What's different? And get back to my work of happiness. Because that work endures. That work rises above all else. That work demonstrates. That work lifts. That work creates compassion. That work embraces. And it doesn't really matter what your job is then, where you are each day, what it is that you do. It matters that you're an example of the discipline of happiness. It doesn't matter what your faith is, it matters that you have faith. Not what kind of faith, but that you have faith. Because ultimately, like as Kierkegaard's Fear and Trembling stated so well, faith is the question and faith is the answer. This is not some vague, transcendent, enigmatic concept. This is a concept of clarity, a graspable concept, a concept full of matter, molecules, energy, real space, and real time. Faith exists and is touchable. It's handleable. It's shareable. It's something that we have that we can put our hand on another and share. I remember a time I had such a dear colleague who I'd worked with for a long time, about 14 years. This woman was my bodyguard and driver. Her name was Kristen. She was an amazing, amazing woman. She'd been a sheriff, she'd been a Brinks truck driver, she'd been a person who transferred prisoners from prison to prison. And when she started working for me, she was very young. And, you would never have looked at her and thought, this girl's a guard. She was about this big, she had long red hair. And it was marvelous, because we could go everywhere together, and it didn't magnetically draw anything negative to me, which is what I loved about her so much. She was bright and engaging. And she got neuroendocrine cancer, and she was diagnosed with a terminally ill disease. And I so remember so many times during the period of her life when we knew that her life would be short, when we would simply put a hand on one another. And the transfer of faith, the transfer of compassion, the transfer of strength emboldened and embodied the both of us. It enlivened us. Molecularly, energetically, in present space and time. It was alive in the room. And now that she's passed on, that is alive in me. And I am happy for having known her. Happy, for that is my discipline. Someone just asked me, do I think that in this time, more than ever, we need to be aware of peace and understanding? In this time now, more than ever. And I don't think so. Because I think in this time more than ever, it's so exciting because we're connected to one another. Not only can you see me here, but look, you can see me here and here and there and there. I can even see me here and here. It's fantastic. And people can see me simultaneously all over the world. And you can see each other in one another all over the world. Imagine if we had that during the Civil War. Imagine if we had that during Hitler's regime. Would Hitler have had a lot of hits on the internet? How would Hitler have polled? Would he have been exciting? Would he have taken over bigger and stronger because he was so smartly dressed? Because his soldiers had those Hugo Boss suits? Because he was so bossy and sharp and snappy? Maybe. Is it now more than ever, or is it simply that now more than ever, we are one in our understanding of one another? Not only in the part of us that is disciplined to happiness, that is alive in our faith, that is clear in our humanity, but is also available to reflect our own darkness and be amused, because our darkness is amusing. Come on. It is. If you don't think some of these people on TV are funny, you're lying. Because it is, it's funny. And the more we understand that the darkness that's in us is our friend, the less threatening any of this will be. The more that we understand that the darkness we see in others is a reflection of the darkness in ourselves, the more compassionate, the more understanding, And the more at ease we will be able to be in dealing with the darkness that is represented in the reflection we see in others. And the more we will understand that no, not now, more than ever before, are we in a crisis. No. Not more than when Idi Amin was cutting heads off left and right, and Hitler was burning people in ovens, or people were fighting for their rights simply because of the color of their skin. No, not now, more than ever before. Just now, because now we can understand the darkness within ourselves. And when we accept, with happiness, I might add, the darkness within ourselves, and that the devil can be an amusing dinner companion if you don't let him stay for dessert, only then we'll be able to see the darkness in others with the compassion and full understanding and full awareness of what to do. How fairly to respond. How cleanly and accurately to behave. What shall we do about the darkness within, so that we may discipline ourselves to happiness, not respond with rage, not respond compulsively, sensationally, reactively, without thought, without foresight, but to cradle this within ourselves and imagine it as though it belongs to us and treat it in the same way. I'm intolerant of myself sometimes more than I should be, because I want to be pure. I do. I want to be pure all the way. And sometimes I beat myself because I want to be more. I want to be better. But is that fair? Or should we find tolerance within ourselves so that we can understand the other? So that we can do better, be more, and discipline ourselves to happiness. Because it is the self, the individual, that sets the standard for others. Service before self. That doesn't mean anything unless the self is good, unless the self is pure, unless the self is working to be whole. We're here on this earth struggling for our own wholeness, to accept all of who we are. And we don't come here perfect, and we don't leave here perfect. But we do walk that path, trying to become more and more pure, and trying to discipline ourselves to a happier, more blessed path. The 4 laws of your test are magnificent. These tests, when passed by the whole person, by the whole self, the good self, the known self, are the only laws any of us would ever need. Thank you for having me.
Please give Sharon a big round of applause. She's done tremendous humanitarian work. She's really producing a whole series on peace in the world and doing a great job promoting peace. Well, this is certainly a jam-packed schedule, sort of like your breakout sessions. And we appreciate Ms. Stone joining us and coming out of her busy schedule. She's recently got a series on TV that she's doing, and as well as filming other movies. So really appreciate her coming out. Give her one more big round of applause, please.